I think Andrew was telling you that we moved to a new province, and now he's between opportunities.
Before I say that, we were intentional with a number of things. So moving here as a new family, no support. You don't have any grandparents, you don't have any parents, friend. So we had to do everything by ourselves.
Yeah.
So we were intentional in just saving money.
If you want to hear more of this story, like, share, subscribe, and come back. We'll share more with you. Again, thank you, our subscribers. 152 of you have chosen to engage with our content. Continue to jam with us on Jamming with the Richards. Where we left off last time, Andrew started to tell you about how we kind of made it unlimited finances. And people might think that we were working in Jamaica and we had saved some money, but when you're in a different country, the monies that you came with, you have to convert it, right? You have to buy dollars, which is at the time was relatively 100 to one. Yeah. So 100 Jamaican dollars for one Canadian dollar. So you know that if you come with $2.5 million, that's like 25,000 Canadian dollars. And if you pay your school fee, if you pay your rent, and if you're spending $1,000 per month, I don't even know how much money we came with, but clearly all of the money was done.
It was done.
Right? But how we managed to survive, Andrew, is on humility and making that choice to make deliberate decisions and to put away any pride. Jamaicans call it false pride. Any false pride that you might have. Because with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, you have to make sure that they have sustenance. Right. It's winter. You have to get new clothes. Right. So it was a lot of things. You would think that it was just eating, but it was getting prepared for living in the country. And you have to get everything to start from scratch. So how did we do it?
So part of it, because we had limited resources, we would save our cash. I decided to go to the food bank. So the food bank is where
you get an emergency basket.
Yeah, you get a basket
every 2 weeks. Yes. And when you have children, you get some
They'll give you milk. They'll give you maybe diapers.
No, we never get the diapers.
Oh, we buy those. We buy those for $2.
When you talk about there was a place that was in the vicinity of the food bank. So when we went to the food bank, if I went, I would walk around the street, and with $2 at Toonie, you could get a few items. They had some little packages. I think they had 6 diapers in them, but it turned out that they were not really diapers. They were swim trunks for babies.
Oh.
but anyway, got 3 items. So sometimes I would get lotion, soap, and always the diapers when I went. So that helped to save some money. Yeah, so the food bank now, lots of stuff right there. So we get like potatoes, tomatoes, vegetable. We got tuna and ciabatta bun. Yeah, because man, we could have eat tuna sandwich. Yeah, so we got that, and most of the meat stuff we didn't take. But we'll take the vegetable, and people who go to the food bank, they'll leave the vegetable and stuff. So that was how we got more than enough vegetables, because we would leave the pork-related stuff in the carts. People would take them, and then they would leave their vegetables, and we would take their vegetables. Sometimes they would leave the tuna or other things that we ate. Yeah. And I just think that God provided for us. I remember I used to go to the food bank in the morning before I go to work, or I'll go to the food bank during my lunch break. Was it every week or every 2 weeks? Every 2 weeks. Yeah. You have a little card. Yeah. And so every 2 weeks. So you had to register for the food bank, Students and low-income people can register with the food bank. And I was a student, and so I re-registered. I remember sometimes people feeling uncomfortable that we went to the food bank. Nobody had to know that we didn't have any money. But guys, there was no shame. But why would you be ashamed? But at that time it was survival. But I moved from Scotiabank to another bank now, like downtown, close to where the food bank is. At times I used to see like customers in there. He would wear his hat. So he was in like his dress shirt and his tie and his dress pants and dress shoes. But he would pull down his hat and zip his jacket all the way up. Yo, get out! Yeah. But the reason why I had to do that, customers,
if they see me in the food bank
yes.
and then they see me serving them in the back, they'll say, "Oh,
Hey, Andrew,
what did
I
you
see
get?
you this morning at the food bank.
What did you get?"
And then everybody would look and they would think that you're kind of robbing the poor,
Yeah, robbing
not
the-
knowing that
robbing the
we are
system.
poor. After a while,
We stopped.
we graduated from the food bank. After a while, meant 3 years.
You know what, Tommy?
Mhm.
Normally, when like the new immigrants would come from Jamaica, I would make a fun of it. I said, "Don't diss the food bank. If you need to go there, go, because it did so much for us."
Yes, babe. We had a car. Like we had to have a car because we have babies and it's winter. It's not like you can have the little babies outside at the bus stop. Well, I think you can, but
Yeah.
we are fresh from a Caribbean island.
Yeah.
So we got a car, and the car that we got was the price of the car was less than what we sold on Sunny that we had bought when we had sold our vehicles, right? On old Sunny. But anyway, I remember there was one point when I had a food bank crew. So the car was full of people going to the food bank. And you know, it was a blessing because it was one young man going to the university, another young man going to the university, one other young man who came to go to the university, and sometimes his mother was there, and then one other young man who came to go to um, another school. So me and the boys just roll to the food bank
Yeah.
on Fridays.
Yeah, at one point I stopped going. So I just give them the keys.
Yeah, I never drive.
No, they
That
drove.
was the funny thing.
Yeah.
Like one particular one would drive. He would drive because I was so afraid. And he would drive in the snow. And we go get our food. And he would pick just a few things
And
out
leave
of that
the rest for
and
us.
leave the rest for us. So it was like blessing, blessing,
But
blessing.
Tommy, you know what? We used to have lots of potlucks.
Oh, yeah.
And on Sabbaths, we had some good meals, you know?
But yes, as you talk about that Sabbath thing, people liked coming to
Yeah,
our
some
house.
people would skin up their noses too.
Yeah, they skin up their noses at the fact that we went to the food bank. But whenever there was a potluck, God just provided something at the food bank for me. So I remember one time we had a potluck and somebody made salad, and when they were coming in, the entire beautiful salad, it spilled and their lovely dish broke. And I was able to just whip up some zucchini and carrot and just lovely vegetables.
Yeah.
And they were like, "This is so good." It's like, yeah, I got it from the food bank.
Yeah,
I was never afraid to tell people.
We had so many stuff.
The other one was the Value Village base.
Huh?
The Value Village, the thrift store.
Oh, thrift store.
Yeah, and how the children would be decked out and everybody thought they were so cute. And every time I went, there were some deals.
Yeah.
So it's like 50 cents and $1.99 and half of that.
What you used to call the store again?
Oh yeah, the VV Boutique. But it didn't originate with me. I heard another friend at the church talk about it.
VV Boutique.
And I adopted it. Value Village Boutique. So we said, "Oh, Tamara, that's such a nice skirt. Where did you get it?" The VV Boutique.
Guys, and some of those stuff they had the tags on them just the
Yeah.
same.
I was always lucky, Andrew, to get new stuff in there, but not everything was new. You know?
Also, I didn't really get much stuff from there. It was mostly for ladies and maybe kids. I couldn't get much stuff from there, but
Because I
I was
remember
okay.
one time I got a brand new Calvin Klein shirt in there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, see, I'm talking about the diversity in Manitoba, because here somebody just waved to us. Is not a petty hand girl. When I was in high school in Jamaica.
We have so much to share. Sometimes people would say, "Oh my, why didn't you just come back to your yard?" But we had a plan, you know. We had a
Still
plan.
have a plan.
So
if you're interested in more content by us, come on and jam with us on Jamming with the Richards.
any advice you guys need, trust me, any advice, anything in Canada, we can give it to you because we've been there.
And that ain't going down. Friends, remember now to like, share, and subscribe for more of this content. If you're interested,